Alright, so you're about to see me have a little bit of trouble with this power bank, but after it turned off and I waited a little while, everything is back to normal now. I have my RG Ally X charging at 42 watts and my tablet charging at 17.6. So since my RG Ally X can charge up to 100 watts, I went ahead and gave it the 45 watt port, and since my tablet can charge at 40 watts, I gave it the 20 watt port. But it is currently functioning just fine.
What's going on, YouTube? This is What Would Josh Do, and this is by far the most exciting video of the year. I ordered this yesterday. It got announced yesterday. It came today. I just woke up 5 minutes ago, and my whole family's asleep. I should be asleep because I have to work later, but I couldn't be more excited to make this video. So I bought this thing so fast. I got the email, I searched Amazon, new listings, saw that it was available. I bought this thing so incredibly fast. It's not even funny. This is Anker's hybrid charging anywhere. 65 watt fusion, 9600 milliamp 65 watts, foldable plug, smart display, Anker Prime ultra fast charging. This is Series 7, says on the side here. And this is all the compatible devices. Got the serial number. We got some specs here, such as the wattage and volts and amps that it's capable of doing. So it looks like you can do 20 volts at 1.5 amps for the USB-C input for the battery. So whether you're on battery or AC, so it looks like it can do 65 watts. I like that. You know, some people prefer to see a little bit more wattage whenever it's on AC. I prefer to not feel like I'm being penalized, you know, like, oh, you aren't using AC, so you get 30 watts or something, you know? I much prefer that. So on the back here, we've got some information such as Anker being such a huge company, which they are, and then a bunch of information there. So let's go ahead and just get right to this. Let's just get right to this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you watched or, you know, if you followed me yesterday when I was talking about this, I love my Anker Prime 130 watt because I use the dock. I don't even wired charge this thing anymore. And I use this thing all the time. Every day I carry around my iPhone and my Android. Every day. Every day I have a tablet in my backpack. Sometimes I have my RG Ally X. Sometimes I have my Steam Deck. I'm always charging things all the time. So this is such a huge deal to me. And I love my Anker Prime here. This is 12,000 milliamp hours. But here's the thing, right? I kill it at work and then I need to charge it up. Well, dude, this little dock makes it so convenient. I don't even think about it. I just slap it on the dock and then I pull it off. It takes less than 1 hour and it's fully charged. I've been contemplating buying a second dock, but I have not because I heard this guy's coming out. So this may or may not be a replacement to the one that I love and use all the time. So we have the charger here. This comes out. We've got some information here. And then here we've got like a cable or something. Whew, man, I'm sleepy. Come on. Oh, you, you open it from this way. So we have like a carrying case or something. Boom, there we go. So this is cool because this will keep it protected. If you use a power bank for years and years and every day you're tossing it around in your car, your backpack, your office, your, you know, wherever you are, it's going to get dirty. It's going to be harder to read the like information that's on the bottom of it and stuff like that. So it's not a bad idea to have a protection for it and put it in a nice case to keep it looking fresh for years to come. So this, dude, the fact that I could take this and just slap it on the wall and fully charge it up and not have to worry about a dock, I mean, that's pretty cool. I like that. So here's the charger. Comes with this cable here. This is an interesting design cable. So, I mean, it's similar to, well, it's exactly the same as, okay. It's just a little bit longer than my little 1-footers. But yeah, so it comes with a nice little cable. It's under 3 feet, but more than 1 foot. So, all right. So here's the unit. So they've been doing this thing where you scan a QR code and it takes you to the website and you get the manual, because this thing is super duper basic and just has the legal stuff that they need to say. Look at this thing. Just look at it. All right. Nice. Doesn't, nothing there. It's got the front. It's got a button. What does the button do? The button says 24%. It says Anker. Here we've got, this is odd. It's got the ports here on the side. It's got the power button. So it's a little bit thicker than this one. On the bottom, there isn't anything. And here we've got some information. Let's take a look at that. It's probably going to be all the same stuff you saw on the box, but there you go. This is model number A1339, 9,600 milliamp hours. And we have that foldable AC plug right there. Look at that. That's freaking awesome. So then here we have a screen that says 100% battery health, 0 cycles, and then the temperature in Celsius and in Fahrenheit. So there we go. And if you hold it, it gets into your settings. So you can choose. Okay, so that's going to go between your settings. So what we need to do, double press it. Okay. And then screen brightness, keep that on high. This is super cool. So basically on here, which we haven't even taken a look at those. Apparently this is in and out. That one's got a laptop icon on it, but C1 and C2. So what this is saying is you can change it where, I keep messing that up. So double press it. So now C1 is an output only. So that's pretty cool that you can change that right here from this thing. So since we're making a video, I'm going to test it with the input anyway. So I'm going to turn that off. We've got this little guy charging because we used it last night to charge up a phone. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug it into the wall and we're going to see what happens. I want to see what happens. So right away, we're getting 30 watts. That's fantastic. It says it'll take 1 hour and 14 minutes to charge. Now, I've been using this thing for a while. It's got the plug right there. Boom, slap it in the wall. The new one's got it here on the side. So the cables come out here and go down, which is interesting because on here, it's always been the cables right there. So it's a little different. But this thing is 10,000. This is 9,600. So they're roughly the same. But this thing charges so fast. At 30 watts, it fully charges in 1 hour. So I'm assuming that this is also going to charge in 1 hour. It says here 1 hour, 13 minutes. So it's interesting that it's only charging at, 30 watts roughly via the AC outlet. So let's see if it charges any faster using the plug that's on the side. So C1. All right, so I just now saw that it actually shows this wattage here from the port. I don't know if it showed that on the wall outlet, but yeah, so it looks like we are getting a 30 watt input, which is what we saw with the AC plug. So it doesn't appear to be any different than just using the wall outlet. So yeah, either of these ports is for input and output right now. So we can do input on both of them. All right, and now what we can do is plug in 2 USB-C cables to the side and see what happens. Can we combine 2? Okay, so that's a negative, so it does not let you do both at the same time. So this is just like a testing, unboxing, Obviously, this isn't a long-term usage thing because I just got it. It just came out. Okay, so 30 watts of input, whether you use AC or you use the USB-C input. Now, what if we want to charge something? My tablet can charge at 40 watts, and it is currently at 50% battery. So I'm plugging in my tablet. I'm going to now plug in this, and we're going to see what happens. All right, so plugging it into that lower port, it looks like the tablet is getting almost 30 watts there. Let's connect something that's a little bit more powerful. So we connected up our ROG Ally X and it shot up to 65 watts. And here on the display, we can see that 65 watts is going out to C1, and right now it has paused charging the battery because it's taking all the power and it's routing it to the RGLIX. So something that pushes as much power as this does, it appears that it's going to pause charging, which if you use a lower power device, it can still do both. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm seeing. My initial impressions, because it clearly stopped charging. It's getting 65 watts from the wall. It says it's putting out 65 watts, and it says 62 watts is going to the RGLIX. So there's the screen on the tester. There's the screen on the battery. And there's what we're drawing directly from the wall. So if we switch it back over to the tablet, let's see what happens after we give it a moment to, figure out what it's going to charge the tablet at and go from there. All right, so give it a moment to calm down. This is exciting. This is awesome. So the tablet's calling for 35 watts right now. This thing is going up. So 29.70, 29.71, it is going up. You can see that we're getting almost 50 watts from the wall. We are drawing 50 watts from the wall. It says it's putting 36, 37 watts into the tablet, and that also reflects down here. But it says we're going to be charged in 2 hours and 27 minutes. So since this has the ability to charge at 65 watts, since we're only doing 30, 35, it can take that extra power and use it to charge up the battery that's inside here. So that's exciting, and that's something that none of these older style things, so the moment you charged something, it was not strong enough to also charge itself. It had to wait for the thing that it's currently charging to charge up, and then it would start charging the internal battery. This unit is able to charge itself while it's charging something else, unless it calls for the max 65 watts power. Then it has nothing else that it can give to itself to charge itself. Then it just simply is a game of waiting for the device you're charging to be fully charged. Then it could divert all the power back to recharging itself. Now, as a nerd, I would have liked to have seen that this had a wattage still for itself. It doesn't, but that's not the end of the world, because we do know that with a fast charger, it's going to take about 1 hour or a little over an hour to fully charge this thing. So if you were to plug this in at 30% and it said 4 hours, you would know something's not right. So that's pretty cool. So I did the unthinkable last night, and I charged up both of my phones. So I'm a little disappointed that I did that. I'm going to plug in one, and then I'm going to plug in the other. Yeah, see, I have a limit set on my iPhone, so it's not charging it past 80%. And you may ask why I have a limit on my iPhone to 80% battery, and I have 200 cycle counts, and I'm still at 100% battery health. So there's my battery at 80%. It's not accepting a charge right now. See, I'm at 100% battery health. I have 156 cycles. I've had the phone for almost 1 full year now. All right, so I do have another power bank that I need to charge up here. What's the cool thing about this is I could charge up another power bank using it. Okay, so that's something I noticed when I tried to charge something and my tester wasn't lighting up. So it appears that this top port is not accepting a charge to things when it's on AC mode. So if we change it to the lower port, yeah, okay. So that's why it wasn't popping up anything at all earlier. So once again, we're drawing 60 watts using that port. It's drawing 60 from the wall. It's currently put charging on pause. All right, so we've tested it in AC mode. Now let's test it on battery mode. All right, so before we end this video, because we've tested quite a few things that we're able to test, I want to see what this port can do. So we're going to test the protocols here, and we're going to see what it can do. This is on battery power. This is using that USB-C 1 port. I've not seen that one before. That's muy interesante. Okay, so I have a lot to go through here. UFCS. I am not initiated. I have no idea. Let me use a better cable. I'm going to run that test again with a more powerful cable. Yeah, this cable says 100 watts, And the one that I was using is a 60-watt cable. And since this thing can do 65, it's only fair. So let's go back up. This is wow, I have not seen that one before. So UFCS and then FCP, used to that one, up to 18 watts. SCP, up to 25. AFC, up to 18. And then we got Quick Charge 3, so 2 and 3. We got up to 12 volts. And then PD3. Holy smokes, we've got PPS up to 5 amps. So this does support Samsung Super Fast Charging 2.0. Wow. Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now what we're gonna do is try the other port, C2, and run that same test. Now there should be no difference between battery mode and AC mode, so I don't have to run this test 4 times. I just want to run it twice to see what this other port can do.
All right, so I just want to show this real quick. So I got my tester connected, and we have the new power bank here. I'm going to plug it into C2, the port we were having issues with before, and you're going to see that it's currently functioning just fine now. And port C2 is giving my RGLIX 60 watts. And then if I change it to the other port, it's the same story. It's going to ramp up to 60. There we go. Sweet. So if I put it back on C2, and you see that it's connected just fine, and then I flip out these prongs, and I connect it to the wall outlet, well, there you go. We're getting 65 watts out, and our RGLIX is charging at 60 watts. So everything's back to normal.
Because this port, from what I saw, was supposed to do 20 watts, and this one like 45 when you had 2 things connected. Because that's one of the things I was going to talk about, is that this thing can do 135 watts total. If you go back to my video of this, I showed this thing putting out 130 watts because it can do 65 and 65. So I love that so much because I constantly charge an Android that's capable of charging at 30 watts and an iPhone that's capable of charging at 30 watts. And I'm getting 60 watts of output. And I put it on my Instagram, on my YouTube community page. I love this thing. It's fantastic. From what I saw, okay, so here you go. I found it real quick before I end this video. So if you use one port, that bottom one or the top one is supposed to do 65. And if you use 2 ports, the bottom one's going to give you 45 and the top one's going to give you 20. So that puts this thing at a disadvantage to my old Prime, because my old Prime could easily give you 65 watts on that port while it's giving you 65 watts on that port. And so that meant you could do 45 on one and 45 on the other, or 30 on one and 30 on the other, or 65 on one and 20 on one. Like, you got 65 watts on each port. That was the maximum for a combine of 130. This thing already is behind my old one, unfortunately. The only advantage is the fact that I can slap it directly into an AC outlet and charge it at 30 watts. If I cable charge this thing, I can get it to charge at 65 watts. If I use a dock, I can get it to charge at 65 watts. Well, all right. It's been 34 and a half minutes now. I need to edit this video. Like I said, I will be getting some support and figuring out what's going on, because you should be able to get 20 watts on one port and 45 on the other, which means I will have to pick the device that I want to charge faster. So since my iPhone can charge at like 27, 28 watts, and my Pixel could charge at 29 watts, then I will probably connect my Pixel to the more powerful port and then only give my iPhone 20 watts. But what's going to frustrate me is that I know my phone can charge even faster at 27 watts. So in the end, it's going to take longer to charge up my iPhone. Whatever port I connect to the C2, it's going to take longer to charge it. So with this guy, that's not the case. Both ports are going to get a nice, fair, even speed, and I'm going to get a fastest charge possible on both things instead of having to pick and choose which one I want to charge faster. So I don't know where this stands. This is just the unboxing. All right. I was going to connect my testers to both ports and show the 45 on one and 20 on the other, but that's not going to happen today. All right. I'll have a link to this thing in the description below, because with some of the primes, you can actually just connect the port into itself and so now it'll force it to reset or something. All right, that's the end of the video. I'll have a link to this in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. This is What Would Josh Do, and I'm out.